All right, it is 7:04, calling the meeting to order. Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, standing one nation. All right, I know that we have one request to move item 7, the executive session, to after the union report. Can I get a motion? So moved. Second. Thank you. Is there any other changes to the agenda? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Perfect. Thank you. And we'll go into the consent agenda. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. Is there any discussion? Motion by Vice Chair Rowland and seconded by Commissioner Chan. Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda and its 5 items.
I move to approve the agenda.
Commissioner Chan motions to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Fahrenhoff seconds. All right, they're moved and seconded. No discussion. So all those in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. All right, on to approval of the meeting minutes. We have 3 minutes or 3 meetings from October. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Commissioner Chan motions and Commissioner Teoflock seconds. Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Around the public comment, I didn't see any names when I took a glance. Is there anybody in Zoom that wishes to make a comment? If so, please raise your hand. All right, we have one comment from a Kevin Better. Melissa, can you give them the ability to speak? All right. We have 5 minutes, Mr. Better, so the floor is yours.
Won't take that long. I'm commenting on the retirement of Greg Lind, our primary caregiver that works out of the headquarters there. And just to comment on kind of how we found him. When I worked at Station 23 as a paramedic, we used to pick up patients at his clinic that he owned on Serene, a Serene clinic on Highway 99. At that time, I was also the wellness coordinator for the fire district. And I noticed that he was the owner and the main practitioner, Greg Lynn, offered a different type of care for his patients. And so we engaged him in working with us because our department and the IFF had been looking for a medical physical for our members that would go beyond what traditional occupational medicine was offering at the time. And when Greg started working with us, we found that and much, much more. I can personally attest, and it's not hyperbole, that through his work with our members, he's extended the lives of our members, he's saved lives of our members, and he's improved our members' quality of life at home and here at work. I just wanted to personally recognize and thank Greg for all these years that he's worked with us to improve firefighter health and for being a true primary caregiver and not just an occupational caregiver who needed to check the box that he had seen the patient. So Greg, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your input. Thank you, Greg, for your service. All right, anybody else? All right, we will go on to the fire chief's report.
Commissioners, staff, and yes, when you care enough to be a recently retired South County fire captain like Kevin Better, who lives in Texas right now, to log into this meeting to talk about Greg Lynn's impacts to our organization and also Captain Better's good work way back when he was a firefighter paramedic. Kevin, I'm glad I called you to let you know that we're going to be getting to Greg Lynn and some other people here in my fire chief's report, but it's really good stuff. Commissioners, since we Kevin Fetter went ahead and talked a little bit about Greg. I do want to let you know that in January, you'll be meeting Greg's successor. So we're very excited to say that with Greg's very warm welcome, that we have somebody else that's going to be joining our organization that's a doctor and a naturopath to continue this good work. So with that, thank you, Mr. Fetter, for logging into this meeting, and I'll continue. So commissioners, you know, we had a very tragic fire at the Linwood Townhomes. We had another fire there previously in 2019 where 2 children lost their lives. On Christmas Eve, 2-alarm fire. I'm seeing some people in this room that responded to this very tragic event. I want to thank Shoreline, North Shore, and Everett Fire Departments for assisting us with mutual aid, but most of all the South County firefighters that worked so hard to get stop loss on that structure, to stop the fire, to conduct the searches, to do the transport of the 2 patients that have life-threatening critical injuries. And unfortunately, we did lose someone in that fire. Going back to 2019, commissioners, I do want to let you know that the property management company and the American Red Cross supported our efforts from our team to install 70 smoke detectors in different units within that complex. Unfortunately, that unit was not one of them that was able to participate back then. So I just want to thank the many people that helped that day respond to that tragic event, and send our condolences to the Linwood community. With that, a little bit brighter note, Lori Robertson, you are going to bring up a video of our retirement ceremony, or excuse me, our graduation ceremony that we had at Linwood High School. Brief ride video. Graduation.
No, I wasn't giving that information.
Okay, so we're going to call an audible. So excuse me, Commissioner. So let's go right to a whole list of retirements and promotions. Are we ready? So we have a bunch of people that are watching this meeting here today. Sorry, Lori, I apologize. I thought we had the video. Okay. So I know that firefighter Kyle Almeida is watching this right now. Kyle is separating from our organization after 9 years of service. Previous to that, he was a member of the United States Air Force and toured overseas in theater. Firefighter Almeida was a member of my crew at Station 10. And just want to thank Kyle for the organization. After at Fire District 1, we hadn't hired since 2008. Kyle, we appreciate your great service. I know that you're leaving earlier than you really wanted to. And it means a lot to be able to, as once you're captain and now you're chief, say goodbye to you. So thank you, Kyle. Moving on, fire. He joined our organization, Paul Bruff, in 2013 as a lateral from Marysville Fire Department, and then subsequently promoting to deputy fire marshal. Paul Bruff was a resident of the local area, went to Mariner High School. He chose to come home again and join our organization. And Paul, I know also you are leaving our organization at a sooner time than you had anticipated. You have 19 years of total service to the communities of Snohomish County. We'd also like to thank you for your service. And senior member of this retirement party is firefighter Brad Cheek. Mr. Cheek was a nearly original member of our technical rescue team. He was always had that smile on his face that you can see right now, and spent about 32 years of service all over what was Fire District 1 and now South County Fire. Brad, you are the epitome of the firefighter's firefighter. We'd like to thank you for your years of service as well. Thank you, Firefighter Chief. And one more separation or retirement. Next slide. Oh, so sorry. So we're missing one picture. So since this is a special meeting, we're going to need special treatment on this. The slide deck got a little bit out of order. So I want to talk about Greg Lind. So Greg Lind came to our organization to help us out, as Mr. Fetter discussed, to help us out with our wellness fitness initiative. And Greg Lind is on the side of the screen in a picture that I can't see because of Zoom. I apologize. So hopefully there's a picture of Greg Lind. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Technical difficulty on the chief because I can't see what's on the screen. So Greg Lynn had a great practice at Lake Surrey. We used to go there. There's Greg. That's a good picture. Perfect. Thank you, Lord. So as Mr. Fetter described, he was able to take 2 doors away and see our firefighters for years and years and years. Be part of the wellness fitness initiative for the IFM. That has grown and grown and grown. I know Greg has discovered some medical maladies of some people that we have lost in our organization that were line of duty deaths. I know he's found some that were prevented, found early, that prevented further line of duty deaths and other maladies, and just done a great job for all of our legacy organizations and South County Fire. This organization has always been very progressive, and to have somebody inside our building that can help our staff and their families means a lot. So Greg, you're going to leave a long legacy of people that you've seen over the years. And I know we had talked, there could be maybe 1,000 different people that are firefighters, not just in this department, in Marysville, Hawthorne, and others. So great job, Greg. Thanks for leaving it better than you found it. So with that, thank you, Lori. Okay, so Chief Maxwell is not here today. He's enjoying vacation. As you know, Commissioner Sean Maxwell is going to be promoted to Assistant Chief effective January 1st, 2020. Slide. All right, you're going to see the center person right over. Health and Safety Division. Joe Hughes on the far left. I know he's watching with family. He's on duty today. We'll get Deputy Chief of EMS. And Todd Anderson, who is behind me, Community Risk Reduction Deputy Chief. So congratulations to the 3 of you chiefs. Good job. All right, so on our far left, Andrew Heller is being promoted from captain to battalion chief. Keith Sessions, captain to battalion chief, and Todd Weigel, captain to battalion chief. Congratulations, chiefs. And promotions to captain from firefighter paramedic Zach Cash, from firefighter to captain Guidry, firefighter paramedic to captain Dan Hargroves, firefighter to captain Derek Talley, and firefighter to captain Nick Tastic. Good job, gentlemen. I also have these 2 promotions to captain that happened a little bit after that, and that is from firefighter to captain Alan Anderson, from firefighter to captain Cliff Appelt, and from firefighter paramedic and also CRP to captain Danny Devos. Congratulations. Next slide, thank you. And we've got from firefighter to deputy fire marshal Keith Bien. And also in the room from firefighter to Deputy Fire Marshal Jared Fosberg. Congratulations. And with that, that concludes my fire chief report. No video link. Have it? Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we've got the video link. That last slide will queue up on behalf of Vice President Armstrong for his junior report. So commissioners, we graduated class 2022-4, Mukilteo, Everett, and South County firefighters 3 Fridays ago. This is at Linwood High School. You're going to see about 3 minutes.
This is it.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, that's what I'm. Thank you very much.
That we were unable to observe.
At the graduation for our recruits, this is their summary video. That there's technical difficulties. So perfect.
And I'd like to thank you for not singing in the interim.
No, that was Captain Carr. All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
If I may narrate over this just a little bit, I can tell you as a video producer, prior life, the quality of this presentation was outstanding. Multiple camera angles, editing, hours and hours. Really appreciate all of your effort. And now batting 21.
Right, so that sounds good. So the same thing happened at the graduation ceremony. All right, so good video. It's better with volume all the way through. So sorry about the technical difficulties. It's about 15 minutes long. The link will be embedded in the minutes. And for South County Fire Commissioners and employees on this, that's your new team that'll be hitting the streets here after the post academies. So welcome recruits to South County Fire. With that, that concludes my fire chief report this evening. Take any questions from the board. Thank you.
Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, I've been here for 17 years, I can't believe it. Relocation, I always meeting new recruit, see them graduations. Of course, promotion, that is, to me, that's really important. And the last one is sad and happy, sad that retirement people are leaving our organization, but I'm so happy that they have a chapter in their life, enjoy life and everything else. So I was from all my heart, I congratulate all the people in there, and also, since we've grown, right, since I was fifth, we doubled our size and everything else, and I see that all these people basically are looking at the future of us. So, yeah, I want to congratulate them.
Thank you for your comments. I know that means a lot. It means always means a lot to recognize retirees. I've always looked up to firefighter Cheek and Paul and Kyle being on my crew at one point. And Greg was my primary care for a long time. it's even more special. You do a good job, I think, of recognizing people when they come here. And we do an okay job on recognizing people for promotions, and then when they left in the past, we kind of said goodbye, maybe one away, and then we forget. This is a huge part of people's lives. So, move forward. Thanks, because you just looking at your face, Commissioner Chan.
Well, it said that place. Many recruit now, I said, I'm to county, when I was a commissioner, they were in grade school. Oh, that's how I am, okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Farinoff.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Chief, for bringing all of this to our attention. Obviously, without you, a conduit to the staff, we wouldn't understand when we have promotions and these kinds of things. So it's very special. And I do want to extend my congratulations for retirement to Kyle and Paul and Brad. And I think I see Greg's successor now, Josh Webb, there at Lake Serene. So I'm very familiar with the clinic, and I used to work with Andy Stevenmer, which that name should ring a bell with him as well. He was on our DMAT there when I worked for FEMA. So thank you and congratulations to everybody.
And finally, we have Amy Cheek. Please go ahead and speak.
Hi, hi, I'm this is Amy's dad, Brad. I'm just exiting my time at South County Fire Commissioners, Chief Hovis. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you letting me give the opportunity to say my gratitude so much for being able to serve in South County Fire for these years. It was a career I've always dreamed of, and it came true. So, and just want to say my gratitude and all the best for the people who are taking our spots as we leave. I was telling Chief Hovis the other day, we're on the sidelines now, and we're all cheering you on to do your best, and we give you our best, and we know this department will be better because of you. And thank you for letting us pave the way for you guys to do better. And we wish you the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad. That's super humbling. Appreciate that. I know everybody, the team, and we'll be missed. We need to leave better than you found it, brother. So thank you for being a role model for so many of us.
Thank you. All right, we will go on to the union report with.
Is there some raising hand there, Amy?
Well, that was Brad. He just spoke.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll go on to VP Armstrong with the union report.
Good evening, staff. Good evening, commissioners. Thanks for allowing me to be here again. I guess I would also like to pass on from Local 1828. Congratulations to Greg Lind. I was seeing him as my primary care doctor for the last few years as well. So wish him luck in retirement. Also, I guess I'll move on to the change in union leadership. If we could put that slide up just for a visual reference. That has President Hoover and Pat Moore on there. If not a big deal. For those of you who don't know, the elections for union leadership were final, and we've had a couple changes in office. As of January 1, Tim Hoover will be exiting as the sitting president, and Pat Moore will be taking the helm. I've said this to Tim myself, but Tim has provided really incredible leadership over his term as president, and I think helped forge or increase the positive relationship between everyone here. And want to say thank you and congratulations to Tim. He will continue to serve in the state council and serve the fire service or all the locals within the area, all the way over to Montana and Idaho. So we wish him luck continuing his work in the state council. And also we wish Pat Moore good luck in his upcoming term as president. I will be supporting him as best I can. I have a couple notes just to make sure I hit everything I'm supposed to hit here. We did have, as Chief Hovis said, we had a fatal fire on Christmas Eve that our members worked hard at. I want to say congratulations, or not congratulations, but thank you to all those men and women who worked hard at those fires. Also, we participated in a mutual aid fire on Christmas Day, of which I was a part of. That was with Everett Fire, and that was also a fatal fire. But everyone there worked hard and very courageously and honorably. I'd like to make mention of the passing of a firefighter from Pierce County Firefighters Local 726. Before his time, he passed unexpectedly on December 14th while he was getting ready for his shift. The memorial fund has been established for his family and is available on the State Council's website, wscff.org. I believe his memorial service will be after the new year. I'm hoping that we'll have a strong showing from our membership. Also, our members donated our time and money to fill 500 gift bags at Edmonds School District Kids in Transition. This was the same group that assisted in, I believe it was Coats for Kids in November. So thank you for those members to do that. We really appreciate that. We've been extremely busy during Christmas with the weather events, as you all know, but we continue to press on, like I said, courageously and honorably. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, VP Armstrong. Commissioners, any questions? Union report? Oh, you got off light tonight, Matt. Oh,
I
Chief
guess
Hope.
I didn't know that President Hoover was going to be not here tonight, so I had a couple of things, and Matt, you did a great job of talking about that for commissioners that were here in 2010. 2009, he was union president in Edmonds when we went down and started that 20-year contract. Spoke very eloquently in front of Edmonds City Council, as well as all of the interactions that happened between individual council members and Mayor Hawkinson at the past. That's a really important note because it was really our second regionalization when we were Fire District 1. And also on President Hoover's watch, we've gotten a deputy chief. Larger 1828 contract negotiated without mediation or arbitration needed. So besides the work you'll continue to do that Matt had mentioned and worked before in the past with legacy organizations, just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And since he's not here today, he got off easy. So, maybe. So, all right, congratulations, and we'll look forward to working with VP Moore, moving up to president. He was been a president before in Chelan before he lateral with the toes. So, thank you, Matt, for letting me step on your toes, and congratulations, Tim.
Commissioner Chan.
I want to piggyback on you. I was there at the meeting. Tim Hoover said, "Hey, we're not leaving you guys. We're just changing the bed." I mean, that really convincing them. And they actually at the beginning, they still stay in the station, no change and everything else. I think that's one of the big successful transition.
Big piece of that.
Thank you. Thank you, VP Armstrong. All right, we will go into executive session here at 7:33, and we will start off with 30 minutes. So everybody in the north room?
Chair,
Yes.
are you expecting any action to be taken after the executive session?
No, I'm not expecting. We are moving into executive session for potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42-30.110 and review performance of public employee pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 1G, and no action to be taken after the exec session. Thank you.
The executive session has been extended by 30 minutes. The executive session has been extended to 9 p.m. The executive session has been extended by 30 minutes. The executive session has been extended by 20 minutes. The executive session has been extended by 10 minutes. The executive session has been extended by 10 minutes.
Still awake. Thanks for sticking around. All right, so we are done with our executive session. We are going to. Before we get to unfinished business, I need to acknowledge that Mike Todd sent me an email saying that he had prior engagement tonight, so was unable to make it. So his absence tonight is excused. We are on to item 10A here at 10:10 tonight. Pre-annexation agreement, City of Briar, Deputy Chief Eastman.
Good evening, Chair, and the rest of the board. This should be pretty brief. If you look at the packet, page 99, we'll start with, there's 3 questions that we talked about at the last meeting with regards to the pre-annexation agreement. And specifically, Exhibit 1, which is the restated agreement for contract for service if the annexation with the City of Briar isn't successful. And so if you go to page 99, it's standard to cover Article 3.1. We edited that to just say that the standard of cover will be identical to those of the RFA. This was discussed with city staff and they concurred. If you remember previously, it had other standards in there for ALS, BLS, and things like that. We just said in the ILA that their standard are the same as the rest of the RFA, and made it very clean that way. And last, or I guess 2 weeks ago discussion, we talked about having a different standard within a partner city. It's been problematic. And at the end, when you look at of how we fund the RFA, realizing that staffing is a large percentage of, or a majority of those funds or expenses, and that's directly related to the services we provide. There's a correlation there, and so that's been changed to have the standards as identified within the RFA. And then we talked about the terms and termination, which is on page 104 of your packet, Article 9.1. And in discussion with Rich, and then subsequent conversation with the City of Briar staff, the language there, it's basically a 3-year agreement, or the Exhibit 1 becomes a 3-year agreement that needs to be amended annually for it to continue. And that was in consultation not only with legal, but with the City of Briar's administrative staff. And if you remember the conversation at the last board meeting, we actually didn't have a termination. It just went until either party gave a 2-year notification to end the agreement or to open up renegotiations for the agreement. This allows it to be in the forefront all the time. I think for the RFA's purposes, it keeps and like Commissioner Kenny stated at the last meeting, we're really good at writing these agreements, but we're not perfect, and things that you don't know today can come up down the road and may put us in a position where we need to address it or amend some language in the contract to be able to keep those contracts healthy on both sides, not just for the RFA, but also for the cities. And so allowing that to be reaffirmed or amended every year formally keeps it in the forefront. The city liked it because they want to annex into the RFA. They believe in that, and they want the conversation of if they're not fortunate and are not successful at the ballot, they want to keep the contract and the fire service in the forefront. And the other thing that we talked about is as we've looked at facility needs and how we would fund those facility needs. We had some conversations about would it make sense to put those funding options as part of the exhibit 1, and talking to legal, we felt that would make it more complex and potentially add some dynamics. And rather than add any other debt service or those other things into the funding formulary, by us having to reaffirm or amend the agreement for it to continue annually, opens up the door for the RFA once we know what we're doing for future funding options and funding methods for facility or capital facilities or whatever other thing that comes forward in the future. It allows us to go and have annual conversations with the city of Briar to resolve anything that needs to be resolved, and can be added at that time as part of the annual amendment that we would have to keep the contract rolling. So those were the highlights based on the conversation we had at the last work session. And I guess staff wants to think that was awesome interaction. And at the end of the day, Exhibit I of the pre-annexation agreement is a much stronger document as a result of those conversations that we had at the work session. So with that, I'll pause and take any questions, but those were the substantial changes in the pre-annexation agreement, specifically Exhibit 1, which is the restated fire service and EMS service agreement with the city of Briar.
Questions? Vice Chair Rowland.
Just some confusion that I had, and it's Scrivener stuff. I couldn't find Exhibit 2, then I found Exhibit 2 in the agreement itself. They reference Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2, which, like I said, found Exhibit 2 because it came before Exhibit 1, minor thing. But then we go on to Exhibits B. So we have 1, 2, and then B through E, but we skip D. I don't know if there's pages missing or if there just haven't been retitled correctly. I'm assuming that's the case. Just got a little confused when I was trying to put it all together.
So Commissioner Rowland, what that is we're restating the existing interlocal agreement we have with the city of Briar. And so the reason you do not have a D is D in the current agreement we have with them is we call it Exhibit D, which is the cost, and it's how the contract's costed out. So it's not an error. It's to keep it in line with what we currently have. D went away as a result of us saying they're going to pay parity with. We restated that in the agreement and took out D and just put they're going to pay the equivalent of fire levy, EMS levy, and the benefit charge. I will say we can flip in the pre-annexation agreement, Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2, the map and the restated. We can clean that up to make it make more sense. That was I left it that way.
It's minor. I just want to make, yeah. No problem with that. Just numbers or letters. It just got me confused. It was just my fault, but thank you.
Well, and so Commissioner Rowland, just so you know, the Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 2 are part of the pre-annexation agreement. The other exhibits are part of the restated ILA. So they're two different documents within the same document, if that makes sense.
Okay. Sure. As long as it fits and I wasn't missing anything. That was all.
And Commissioner Chan.
Chief Eastman, have we have any problem with, we have Station 18 there, the standard coverage, do we have any problem with response time and all that stuff? Have we any general, just
Well, so Commissioner Chan, in the last city gate standard of cover we did, and actually the last two, it is showing the need for additional resources in South County, specifically 18, 19, 22's area. And so I think, and I think Chief has talked to you about this in the past, that the last PAU we put on, we identified station 18 or 19 as one of the places that are needed. If you looked at the RFA as a whole, and did not take into account the contract cities and how the level of service is spelled out in those. And so I would say that we've been telling the city of Montlake Terrace for some time that their call demand is up about 900 calls a year from what they had, and that the need is now. And I believe it was Commissioner Schrock that told them the first time back when we did our city agreement. So we do know that we have some increased staffing needs down there. And obviously we haven't done that as a result of the current contracts, but we do know that we have an increased need down there just because of demand and what the call load is down there.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, DC Eastman.
So Chair Daniels, the staff would like to bring this forward for action at the first meeting. Actually, I guess next Tuesday, if the chair is willing to consider.
Certainly.
Appreciate
All right.
it. Thank you.
On to item 10B, the budget amendment for 2022 budget. Those of you that are here, I gave you a hard copy while we were in exec session. Commissioner Teoflack and Lawrence, you should have emailed copies so you see everything. There are accidentally a couple pages missed. So
Yes, and I'd like to state, this is Melissa. I'd like to apologize for that. I attached the wrong document and have just emailed you all the resolution with the resolution number and the final document that should have been in the packet. Again, my apologies for that.
thank you. CFO Bothwell, your turn.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. So earlier this month, I presented the year-end housekeeping budget amendment. I had intended to put that on consent and bring it back to you tonight on consent, but we did have to make a change to that. So I wanted to highlight that change really quickly for you tonight. And then we are looking for you to take action on this item. So initially, when I had presented this, one of the items that was in the proposed budget amendment was to provide funding for due diligence on the Verdant property. And the value of that item was $200,000 when I first presented it. After that presentation, we did receive a couple additional bills from the service providers that are working on that project. And so the revision was to increase that to $250,000 just to provide additional funding for those invoices. That work is part of phase 2 of the environmental study. And so we do expect that Ecology will be reimbursing us for all of those additional costs. So there are no other changes to the budget amendment. We are looking for action tonight, and it sounds like you all have the correct resolution. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions? Just to read through it.
Yeah, which one we're looking at? It's $250,000, right?
It's the resolution number XXXX that he gave. I have another copy of it.
Yeah, but that is like. Yeah. This one,
Yeah, there's two numbers there. So.
right, I saw 250.
680 right here is right here. I think it's there. It's a lower one.
Right here, 200. Yeah,
Apparatus is up here. And then
Right.
maintenance is down there. It's the second line. So you have 550 here from 0 to 1647.
how can it become 2.3?
That's not right. That's the capital fund apparatus. Go into the apparatus line. It took me a minute to get my head. Do the exact same things. Glad to know I'm.
All right.
I could make it as an accountant.
Well, you can lie.
That's true.
So you're looking, CFO Bothwell, you're looking for adoption, right?
Correct.
All right.
Minor Scribner's error. We are not South Snohomish County. There's a double S there at the adopted line. Minor thing, we'll just cross it up later, but
Where is that at?
bottom,
Oh, okay.
just, yeah.
With emphasizing the S.
Wow.
Anybody see any concerns why we can't adopt this tonight? Commissioner Chan, I see you in deep thought. Is there any red flags that come up for you?
No, I just, have I seen this before? This come on to tonight.
The additional information came tonight, but everything else was still there in the packet. So it's not entirely new.
Is that a fact? Okay.
Yeah, the only thing missing from the packet was that the resolution text, which. Judge numbers.
Right.
Yeah, and Commissioner Chan, to that point, the documents are nearly identical to what was published with the third quarter report that was presented earlier this month. And then the documents, including the resolution, were published with the December 20th packet for last week. It's just the resolution that isn't included in the current packet.
Because in the package, I have some cost of living for some individual, nothing to do with that, right?
Correct.
Totally separate.
Okay, all right.
Just out of curiosity, were those supposed to be taken up tonight or were those just mistakenly included?
Taking up next.
No. Yeah, there's a COLA and then there's a retroactive pay increase for fire chief and executives.
I'll have the next one.
Next week, we're gonna do it.
So I'll have the next item on the.
Next item, okay.
Oh, I didn't.
Actually, I do have a question. No.
see it on the agenda.
All right, so the chair would like to entertain a motion to approve resolutions with my. There you go. And be, what is the?
Page original.
Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the budget amendment for the 2022 budget. Which includes the 2022 budget amendment agenda bill, as well as the 2022 budget amendment resolution 122720022-26. I word it correctly, CFO Bothwell?
I can't confirm the resolution number, but everything else was great.
I was reading off the agenda item 10B. So.
Perfect.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Been moved by Vice Chair Rowland and seconded by Commissioner Teoflat. Any questions? All right. All those approved, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. All right, resolution passes. On to new business.
Sorry. Go ahead.
A COLA adjustment resolution for Steve Wheeler with Fire Chief Hovis.
Okay, Commissioners, new business item 11A is a COLA adjustment resolution for GIS analyst. It's asking for the board to take action at this meeting to provide for Mr. Wheeler a cost of living increase consistent with the section 3.0 compensation policy for a CPIW adjustment, Seattle Development Revenue June to June of 9.5%, consistent with other non-represented staff. Passing this resolution tonight, board will allow this to go into effect effective January 1st, 2023. With that, I can take any questions on the proposed resolution page 124 of the.
Commissioner Kane.
Is Steve Wheeler employee?
Yes, he's a contract employee. He's one of the three contract employees myself. Plus, like
But we treat them as employee.
yes, that's contract employee.
How's that different from Okay.
Not a whole bunch other than he has a personal services agreement just for commissioners that were here in the past. Steve Wheeler retired as a two firefighter, started in 1979 and created an interesting skill set, being very intuitive GIS. So this is the agreement's been in place for many, many years.
Yeah, so he's, therefore, he just. The reason he got a separate rather than with the group is because. Yeah,
Like me, and like what was explained.
okay, and you both still have the W-2 and all that. He's not independent contractor. I'm talking about.
Chief, can you summarize what you just said a little louder so people online can hear what you're saying?
That Mr. Wheeler, along with myself and Melissa Blankenship, are contract employees, so they have personal services agreements different than our direct employees that are either our non-represented employees or represented employees by union. So we're 407 FTEs in the budget. There are 3 of which are contract employees. Does that cover everything?
Just one more question. Is it full-time?
Yeah, nearly full-time.
Okay.
So it depends on what week. Sometimes he'll work more in 1 week due to the demands, sometimes a little bit less. It's a unique service agreement that was entered into, so you would continue to have employment and be able to have some flexibility in the schedule, and I could provide that to the board at a later time.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I finished the Steve Wheeler, then I talked about the other.
Okay.
In my experience with somebody's contractor or, kind of varies like that, bill rates sometimes are higher than if they were FTE. What is his current salary and how does that compare with, I'm throwing a lot of.
I'm sorry, without having a copy of his current contract that has been reviewed by legal when we did this originally, and we still I understand that it's under market.
Mhm.
So underneath what market would be for the employee.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Further questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Next item,
So staff was hoping for it's up to you to make a motion here in the second on to pass this resolution. Should we want?
okay, Chair would like to entertain a motion to, for the COLA adjustment resolution to adopt for Mr. Steve Wheeler. Motion by Commissioner Teoflax, seconded by Commissioner Lawrence. Any questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Chief, for that. Item 10B, retro pay increase resolution. I'm not able to find that resolution at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
1-2-2-7-2022-25.
Right. So the purpose of this is that, so should we decide to do any sort of pay increases after we have a conversation about the performance of our public employees here at item 14, or later on another time in the future, we decide to do pay increases, we can go back to January 1 and not be deemed gifting of public funds, long story short. So looking for adoption of the resolution number 1227-2022-25.
Clarification question. This is because we intended to do this earlier before we got to January 1st. But now we're kind of at that line, so we have to do this one step ahead of time for legal reasons. All right.
Correct.
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Rowland. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Farnhoff.
Okay, first of all, the title it's kind of confusing to me. It shouldn't be said executive assistant to the commissioner. Good, isn't your, because when you say fire chief and executive assistant,
Yes, it should be for the Board of Commissioners.
right? So it's not your executive
That
assistant.
is correct.
Correct.
I mean, can we correct that?
Sure. So there. Let's go ahead and make the correction that, so it's the title says a resolution authorizing retroactive pay increases to the fire chief and executive assistant. It should be for the executive assistant of the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
What? Any objections? Nope. All right, we're golden.
Okay, then the second question is that we are not having any number or anything yet, you just say we're able to do it, right?
Correct,
Right, thank you.
because we're not gonna be able to make that decision tonight, but
Right.
sometime into the future, and then we'd like to go back to January 1, and this is how we can do that
Okay. All right.
without being doing bad. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, resolution passes. Thank you, commissioners. Committee updates, bylaws, Vice Chair Rowland.
Nothing to report at this meeting. We do have to meet after the beginning of the year, and get things finalized up.
Very similar for Snow 911, nothing to report at this moment in time. So we will go on to commissioner comments, item 13. Turn off.
We're just coming up at the end of the year here, and I just wanted to thank everybody that's involved on the commission for having me to be a part of this. I think it's been a tremendous learning experience, and because this is, I think, our last meeting of the year, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody online. Thank you for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you in 2023.
Yes. Thank you.
Excellent. And just want to say, Commissioner Fernhoff, you have passed your probationary period for flying colors.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we will go into our final executive session for the night to review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 sub 1 sub G as in George. We will go ahead and start off with 30 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
Good night, Chief.
New Year. I'm just gonna crawl underneath the table and take a nap. Just 10 minutes.
I thought that was a misprint. Now there's some trouble.
Here, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Yes, anybody else? Yep.
Yeah.
Chief and Melissa.
The special meeting has been called back to order at 11:05 p.m. And without objection, the special meeting has been adjourned.